Welcome to the Dr. Erin Show. May you live your truth. Good morning from Los Angeles, California. Today's topic is money, wealth, and wisdom. So yesterday on the show, we talked a lot about Wednesday wisdom and wealth wisdom. So today I thought I'd carry that through because I know money is a big topic in our culture, and it has been for me, and I know it is for so many. And so let's roll with this one. So taking a deep breath, knowing today is a day to claim your prosperity. It's your birthright. Today is a day to claim your abundance, your money, your wealth, and wisdom, knowing that money is just a symbol of your consciousness. True wealth begins within. It is all about innovation. It's about great relationships, and it's about understanding supply and demand, and basically giving the world what it really desires. So on this note, yesterday on the show, we talked about, great books. And I wanted to talk to you guys about that because I truly believe that wealth and money and abundance always, we know, begins with your mind. It always begins with your mindset, with your ability to innovate and so on and so forth. And knowing that, this podcast today is more about the external. It's really about how to get your mind right as far as reading the right books and the right resources. So if you go to some past podcasts, I talk a lot about money, wealth, mindset, all that. You can find that on those podcasts. This podcast is about some great books that we referred to. So one of the greatest books, I think, around money is Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. Very, very famous book. There's an entire movement of Napoleon Hillers, if you will. It's a foundation, and highly recommend that book. He really gets into the mindset, how to get clarity, how to go into your allies and going into a mastermind. And so many great masterminds have come out of that book, Think and Grow Rich. I highly recommend that one. Another one that's very famous is The Science of Getting Rich. And some would say that the documentary The Secret came out of the book, The Science of Getting Rich. I'm not sure if that is correct or not, but I know that that book is a great resource of getting your mind and knowing that you are like the law of attraction and a vibration, and that literally, some people, naysayers, will say, oh, I don't believe in that. You don't just sit around and meditate and hope for money to show up. But no, of course not. But you've got to get your mind right to even be able to innovate, to even know it's possible. If you don't get your mind right and don't get in that frequency, you can do your to-do list and stay busy all day long. But the reality is that you're never going to really go anywhere because you're going to sabotage it if you don't believe that you're worthy of abundance. And getting the mindset and the vibration, literally, I've seen miracles happen for people when they're in the right zone, as I call it. Aligning, you're in alignment, and things do literally show up on your doorstep. And people walk in through your front door, and all things happen in business with ease and grace when you're in that zone. Doesn't mean you don't work hard. Doesn't mean that you don't understand the principles of wealth from a standpoint of financial and everything else. Another book that I highly, highly recommend, one that set me on my path to building assets, is the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by, I believe it's Kiyosaki. And he also did the Cash Flow Quadrant. These are must-read books. So Rich Dad Poor Dad is, I don't know, it's kind of a real book, kind of not, but it tells the story of him growing up and having one rich dad and one poor dad. And he considered his poor dad, even though he wasn't that poor. He was a professor, I believe, at a college, and he had a job. He only made money when he went to work. And his rich dad built assets. I think it was one of his best friend's dad, basically was a real estate mogul, and taught him how to build assets, how to compound money, and how to not buy liabilities. So the point is this, is that rich people, quote, quote, buy assets. They buy things like real estate or different residual income companies, things that put off cash flow. There's a return on investment, and there is residual income. And with that residual income, rich people buy their liabilities, such as their car, their clothing, their furniture, things that go down in value, and they buy assets and they invest in assets, things that go up in value and things that have, residual income or passive income or whatever. And they don't buy their liabilities until they have money coming off of investments. So that's kind of the concept behind that. And also, rich people make money while they sleep, right? Their investments are still making the money even while they're not working. So that's the point of having money work for you instead of you working for money. And I think it's really important to understand this. Another great book that I highly recommend, I always refer to, is called The One Thing. It's by Gary Keller, who started the number one real estate company in the world called Keller Williams Real Estate. And it's a great, it's such a great book because he took all of his coaching distinctions, because as he was building this company, he hired coaches, he hired mentors, he had people that were guiding him. And he thought he wanted to bring all the principles that he had learned that had built his company to be so great. And so he created the book called The One Thing. And the point is that if you go to any leadership programs, any coaches, they're going to have you get very clear on your goal. And so most leadership programs will have you write out a 10-year goal, a 5-year goal, 1-year goal, quarterly goals, monthly goals, weekly goals, daily goals, hourly goals. And that should be one thing, because really the mind, it's really a metaphysical book, The One Thing. Your mind is so powerful, but if you have it directed in a bunch of different directions, it's not going to be as powerful as you direct it onto one particular goal you're setting. And I believe it's something like 98% of the population doesn't have goals. So if you even have a goal, like a 10-year goal or 1-year goal or whatever that is, you are in the top 3% of the population. And then if you look at your goal and you think upon your goal and you focus on your goal every day or every day before you go to sleep, you're supposedly in the top 1% of the population. So this is powerful. This is what we preach, right? This is a metaphysical, the entire point of using your mind for good and directing upon universal law, that you are here to direct energy. And these books are really here to show you and guide you of how to do that in a way of leveraging, of compounding, of delegating, of building systems, whether it be just as you're a single person in your entrepreneurship or whether you are building a team or whatever that is. So the next book that we referred to is The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Genius book. Like I say, he was way ahead of his time in this book as far as I'm concerned, because he was talking about things like hiring virtual assistants in different parts of the country, learning how to, not have your technology use you, but having you use it for good. He talks about things like how to put automation on your emails so you're not having to respond to emails all day long, because every time that an email comes in, if your phone dings, it's going to distract you from staying focused. So Tim Ferriss is really good at breaking down so many things of having a lifestyle of only working a 4-hour week work. And I know that I'm sure he's probably a total workaholic, so I'm sure he doesn't work 4 hours a week. But the point is that you can get done what somebody would get done in a 40-hour week with 4 hours if you're really, really, truly focused. And I've witnessed this. I've witnessed this with top CEOs, people that are worth a ton of money, have a ton of wealth. They learn how to leverage people that work for them, leverage their time, and become much more efficient. In fact, the entire kind of definition of being powerful is being able to get something done with the least amount of time and the least amount of effort, right? So on that note, my own journey of becoming self-made, I worked my ass off in my 20s to become self-made, and it was a lot of hard work. And I learned a lot, and knowing that a lot of it came down to mindset. I was thinking smaller. I probably could have done 10 times what I did if I'd had a bigger mindset. I highly, highly recommend getting a mentor, getting a coach, being a part of a mastermind, and finding a support group, and reading the right books to get you set in the right directions. It's the best thing. The best return on investment is your own consciousness. Always the best ROI, as they say, is your own consciousness. No question about it. So on that note, you guys, knowing today is a day of wealth, abundance, money, prosperity, and all the above, today's universal law is the law of divine will, because your will is God's will. It's one and the same. So as you direct energy upon universal law by the power of your mind and the conviction of your heart, it is done, done, and done. And so today's daily spiritual practice, because every day we practice, is to go within and know the truth that prosperity and abundance is your birthright. It's your birthright. Anything other than that is a lie. Innovation, implementation, delegation, and truth are the answers, okay? So today's challenge, because we play this game of life, is to stop telling yourself the limited story of scarcity. Stop it. Let it go, okay? Stop telling yourself your limited story of scarcity. And so on that note, you guys can find me at Erin Fall Haskell. You can also download my free app, guided meditations, and all of the above at drerin.tv. You can find me now daily, also Monday through Friday on Good Morning La La Land, and all that good stuff. So please direct message me. Let me know what you guys are thinking. How's it going? What do you want to talk about? All that good stuff, because we are coming to the end of 100 days of podcast, you guys. And we're going to be going to the next level on all this. So stay tuned and may you live your truth.